the circuit. There's people around, and not everybody is going to use. I think looks as if there's only 2 there. It's very few. Normally they provide them for the pits area, but for Evenepoel and Masnada, they're definitely being of use.
Here we go. Get themselves back and underway. I was just about to say, where do you wash your hands? Frankly, just get on with it. But you may want to wipe down the bar tape a little bit later on. 2 minutes and 37 is your gap. Just under 160 k's to go. Brian, that's a common distance in Grand Tour stages.
It is. It's just a case of riding their own race. They want to keep the average pace up. They want to make it difficult. They can afford to give the 7 riders that are still in front. I'll name check them: Foldager, Bernard, Housing, Garcia, Oliveira, Kristen and Meyerhofer. They can afford to give them 5-6 minutes. It's not going to make too much of a difference, but what Belgium are doing with Slovenia from time to time is just keeping the average pace up, because as anybody that rides a bike, if you're riding at an average pace of 42, 43 throughout the race today, it fatigues the legs. If you're riding at 40, 39, then everybody's got that little bit left.
Well, some haven't, and Ollie Knight is now in the pit area and without any hurry to get back on the bike, I'm afraid. And he's still standing next to his steed, getting some fettling here. I think he's called it a day, but we shall wait and see. Hasn't exactly gone straight to the icebox there. Remco Evenepoel also having rolled through the sequence of having to take a comfort break. Most will have to do this. It would be a very strange thing with all the hydration that's required if it didn't have to go somewhere. So just getting himself back in. Once again, up towards the front, not on full attack, but just giving himself some drift room to actually go and pay a call and then get back on with it.
Into cycling. Of course, I think the start is going to be pretty special and important as we go on the local lap straight away. But for me it's going to be about saving energy as much and as long as possible. And then, once we go to Mount Kigali, I think I need to be awake and ready for the race to really open. So, I think it's going to be a very important day, long day as well, hot day as well. So, we need to be conservative, like you said, and choose the right moments.
And focus on one specific rider?
No, it's this type of course that you don't know what to expect, and when some big breakaways goes with very strong riders, it can be very dangerous. So we need to be awake to be ready from the start, and I think all 8 of us need to be awake and ready for some dangerous moves.
The title of last Sunday probably motivates you even more?
Of course, I think every win is like a motivational boost, and it's exactly the same with this one. So we're going to do our best and make the best of it today.
Very positive from Remco Evenepoel. Of course, won that time trial here in Kigali last Sunday. It's a different race altogether, this one, but he has done it in the past in the Wollongong in Australia a few years ago. And they have been attentive right from the start. All 8 of them have totally been dialed into this one. We've seen a lot of Victor Campenaerts, of course, just marking things out where they don't have a large breakaway. Still quality breakaway of 7 riders, but I think it's a case, and I think Evenepoel said that in his interview, that it's not about what others do, it's what Belgium do. They're just going to concentrate on what they're doing more than anything. Back to the front, and it's Goveka, the Slovenian rider. It's still Florian Vermees. Florian Vermees has been the rider from Belgium that set the majority of the tempo today. This is Wout Poels, the veteran of the Dutch team. Rides for Astana. Of course, many people know this already. No race radio. So this is all about just communication with the car as much as getting some bottles from the car. Paul's a very experienced rider. Not taking too many bottles. Most of the Dutch riders have been getting bottles from the side of the road at the pit area. And of course, the Dutch starting with 5 riders. There was 6 riders on the start line. Sam Oman was a non-starter for the Dutch. And again, the Dutch have featured in these World Championships over the years in both male and female categories. In fact, I think they're still at the top of the medal table, the Dutch. So Florian Vermeers, Goveka, just looking to see the rider in the white. So they've got a little bit of help at the fronts. This is the Australians trying to come back as well. We see this pretty much throughout the whole race. Riders stopping for naturals or mechanicals. Teammates trying to kind of help them back. We know from the Australians who are the kind of principal riders, and they'll be looked after. Of course, this is all about trying to conserve as much energy as possible. Italian rider here on the right hand side just taking a little bit of a natural break, and of course we've been talking about that. There is a risk to that. Commissaires will fine you if it's within sight of the public. Portaloos have been used by a few of the key riders so far in this race, but yeah, this is what happens. There's a lot of action in the convoy, the rear of the peloton. It seems to be really kind of settled in. 7 riders in front, with Slovenia, Belgium and another nation riding at the front.
It looks like we're going to have some rain. You can kind of sense it yourself, Brian. It's going to get a little bit cagey, this. We have now, the next passage of the finish line will be the final lap. You can almost hear the bell before we depart the circuit that we've become so used to. Yeah,
they'll get a chance. They've already been out there riding, and they already know the climb. Everybody that's been here has had a chance to go out and look at this other part of the course. We've had various interviews, and those various interviews have kind of said to us that I think they're expecting something to happen. I still think it's very early, 100 kilometres to go to the finish. This is a very tough course, and of course this is the main climb of this race. But the question is, for me, who's going to take advantage? Maybe Ben Healy. Of course they're going to ride it up at a decent pace, and because there's a lot of nations here that want to make this race as hard as possible, but I'm not too sure we're going to see someone strike out for glory for 100 kilometres to go in this race. So I think there might be a selection, but I don't think it will be the selection.
I agree, but I think we're going to get a little bit lively, and I think that's going to happen in the next 20 kilometres or so. There is a couple of climbs that are going to be unusual, and you can already see there's a little bit of impetus that's been built into the peloton. And I think that is precisely because we are going to have a little bit of variation. And if there is to be any changes, at least within the next, let's say, hour or so, it's going to happen, I think, in the next 20 kilometres. So let's get this dealt with. We're going to get onto our cobbles at the end of this descent. We'll pick up to the climb that almost defines our small circuit. We'll then take a lap, and after we have, we're just about to begin at lap 9. We're actually leaving town. We're going to the Col de Péage. Then that will introduce us to the Mont Migali, then the Mur de Kigali, named after Kigali, and then we'll come back and start playing with the Côte de Kigali, which is the rib, which you are familiar with. But it's almost like an island of respite, not only for the riders, but for you at home as well, that we're going to have a change of terrain. I remember when we were at Richmond, Virginia, the circuit had no variation within it, and I can't remember how many laps there were, Brian, but I've got a feeling it was like 40 or something.
No, it wouldn't be that short. I can remember the circuit there, of course.
Maybe it just felt like that to me.
Yeah, it seemed to be a little bit of a crit, but Richmond is part of the circuit on Swift. I've ridden it a few times myself, and there are a couple of key points in Richmond that come very much like this. You can remember the climb, the quick descent, and then the climb back up to the finishing line. So there was 2 climbs in quick succession.
15 laps. You're absolutely right. I just remember it being interminable. I kind of thought it was even more than that. Maybe it was just maybe it was my own nightmares that came after that. But
you need to get yourself on Swift and then familiarise yourself with these World Championship courses. Innsbruck would be a good one for you. It's quite hilly.
Thanks, mate. Quite fancy Qatar. Actually, in Qatar, there was one major turn. That was it. It was like a desert road. Then they turned south,
and that's when it happened.
That's it. That was the only variation.
As the crosswinds happened, and then that was it. So I'm just looking here that another team in the white is Mexico, and the Mexican team with 3 riders started. Of course, Del Toro has been, I would say, the man of the month. What he's been doing in the Italian races has been quite incredible. But this is Freya, the Mexican. They've already used up one of the riders earlier on today. So having 3 riders, using up one rider already, putting another rider to the front. Del Toro is absolutely feeling as if he's king at the moment, or is it a case of I'm good buddies with Tadej Pogačar, who rides for Slovenia, and we're going to maybe help each other, because there's absolutely no reason why Mexico would ride. The problem you've got here is you use yet another one of your teammates. There's still 151 kilometres to go. How long can he ride at the front? Because Del Toro, come the latter part of this race today, could be on his own. So what happens if he does have to stop for a natural break? What happens if he gets a puncture or anything at all? You're without teammates, and that doesn't help you at all. You may have the form, but I do believe that you really, in the World Championships like this, there are key moments in the race where you need teammates.
You need friends as well. And could that come from trade help? International?
I hope not, but it has been in the past, and of course it was Great Britain that the coach had to move on because of what happened. There's 2 British riders. I think 2 of them are working as sports directors for a World Tour team, were riding at the front, and I know that happened in the past, that you went to World Championships, if for your country, even if you were, you had absolutely no chance yourself or no chance for anybody within the country, there was a little bit of wheeling and dealing, a little bit of money changing hands, and will you help out? And you went and did your job and got the money at the end of the day. I think nowadays it's a little bit less now, but there's still alliances made between trade teams.
Listen, if you're spending your life in the pockets of your friends, basically, you're possibly going to be given to looking favourably upon somebody who's asking for a little bit of help, even if that extends to taking a bottle from the side of the road. And equally, you're going to find, I'm sure, trade teammates, so those who ride together when they're not riding for their country, looking more favourably on somebody who, quite frankly, is a friend. I'd give you a leg up, Bri.
Yeah, but if I was really direct and personal here, like I always am, I would say that what Mexico are doing here is actually not helping Del Toro at all. If I came here as Del Toro and I had 2 teammates, I would want those 2 teammates to get me bottles, to look after me. If I needed a natural break, be there for me. If I had a puncture, be there for me, and just support me as much as I can. Even to the fact, and I did this in the Olympic Games for Max Chiandri, even just moving up in the peloton. If you stop for a natural or have anything at all, getting a bottle from a person at the side of the road, you don't get involved with that melee where there could be a touch of wheels or crash. So keep safe, keep out the way for the feed stations. let your teammates get the feed for you. But what I did at the Olympics for Max Chiandi, who went on to take bronze in '96, was I kept him near the front. Whenever he needed to move up, he gave me a shout. I moved him up in the win. So you do all these things. What Mexico have done today, and I hope Del Toro goes on to win this, is right at the front for no reason. It's 2 minutes and 39 seconds. You've got Belgium and Slovenia, two of the strongest nations in here. Why would you ride at all? There's no reason to ride at all. So I think they're not really kind of helping Del Toro by doing this. I think it's possibly just a little bit of show and a help, and maybe friends and Del Toro's friendship with maybe Pogacar and things like that, so that they can afford to sit back and look after their number one asset, which is Del Toro. They don't have to be doing this, because Florian Vermeers, well, he's doing a terrific job here, you have to say. And he's been riding pretty much from kilometre zero at the front. We know he's very capable of doing this, and he's doing a good job at that, because we've seen Zuma for Slovenia. He's done 100k's, now climbed off. There's a few other riders that have been up there doing their job. Finished, we saw Will Barter for USA ride at the front, finished. Florian Vermeer still there.
A little bit of a wave, and you'll have a few more of those, I'm afraid. Ivan Romeo, very strong rider, giving us a wave goodbye. Got a teammate up the road, and this is Raul Garcia. Had to work hard to get into this breakaway, and he's been very much part of the push out front ever since he joined them. Looking a bit second hand is Menu